What's up guys, welcome to IT Security Labs, and today we have another interesting lab where we will be completing a capture the flag machine from Vulnhub, and this machine is called Orcus. It's an old machine, but the vulnerability that is here is really fun, so I figured this is a really fun machine, might as well complete it. The difficulty says it's hard. I don't believe it's that hard, but as you can see, it was made for Hackfest 2016 by Viper. It's a really great machine. So what we will do today is we will attack this machine and then intercept the traffic. At the end, we can come back in here and look and try to analyze our traffic, our attack traffic, to see what did we do, how would the blue team find our attack. Is there anything interesting about the type of attack that we're doing, and how do we actually interact with the data? For example, we can come in here. I was just looking here for any time that someone is scanned port 80 with Nmap, for example. I just came in here and searched using user agent, and this is every instance where port 80 was scanned and we saw user agent Nmap in Kibana. So this is really good skills for those who are interested in blue team and also some of the red team stuff. So it's good to see everybody, and thanks for joining tonight. So if you want to get started, the first thing is come to here, vulnhub.com, download this machine. It's from 2016, but it's super fun. I uploaded it in VirtualBox, so that's what we'll be doing here. I'll be attacking this machine, and it's in VirtualBox. I already have my security onion listening to the traffic using a network tap, and the security onion is running in VMware ESXi. As you can see, I also have Splunk here, and Splunk is also listening to this traffic, but it's not as accurate today, so you might not see a lot of Splunk, but we'll stick with security onion here, which is giving us a lot of the data. So that's what we have here. Hi Brendan, it's good to see you, man. Thanks for joining. Angel, thanks for joining. I appreciate everybody who's here. Yeah, so that's our machine. We'll be attacking this and getting our traffic. I want us to really get good at interacting with this traffic after the attack has happened. So spending more time in Splunk and Kibana, looking for this traffic, trying to understand how it works. So that's what I would like to focus most of our attention on, is how do we discover this attack. For example, if you remove all the search queries here, you notice that there is almost 1 million events that happened in this time frame here. This will be interesting for the good guys, the blue team. Why is it that this happened right here? This is when I was doing a little practice earlier. So after our attack, we should see something similar to this or even more up here. So that's what we are after. Then we can interact with the data. All right, so first download this machine, get it into VirtualBox, and in VirtualBox here I just have my settings as bridged adapter. Then all the traffic that is going to this machine that is running VirtualBox is being spanned to security onion. So it's a simple setup and it's awesome. Jupiter, it's good to see you, bro. Thanks for joining. It has been a couple weeks since I did this, so I'm very excited to come back on track and actually start the attack. I was a little busy traveling, but now that we're back, I think we should get to business. All right, so first I would like to start with the ping to my machine. If you don't know what the IP address is, let's go and check. So when you deploy this machine, it will say 192.168.38.37. That's mine. So that's where we are there. And then let's just ping that IP address quick. 38.37. All right, so our victim machine is responding. So we'll just start with the ping. Now that we know it's responding, let's throw in Nmap. Do I want to do a service scan? I guess we'll do it -SC. I want to do -SV. I want to do on all ports this time. And (38.37). So this will use default scripts, do a service scan, and it will scan all 6,500 ports roughly, and then give me some results. And what I would like to do is highlight that when we do this, we are obviously using Nmap in its default form. We're not trying to hide, we are not trying to be stealth or anything like that. So this is going to cause some noise. And that's the type of data that I was dealing with earlier when I was showing you here, where I was trying to find, or well, for example, if every time someone runs Nmap on HTTP, so if you're scanning a web server, this is where I can just quickly query for it. And to do that, I'm just using Kibana querying language. I'm saying, hey, tell me every time you've seen someone scanning using Nmap and scanning port 80, because that's HTTP here. So this will just speak for port 80. If we go back here, let's refresh this. Let's change our time to, let's find the one that we're doing right now. Let's put last 15 minutes. All right, so this is now showing me fresh traffic that we're just generating right now. As you can see, Nmap is being picked up a lot. So there is no hiding when you're using Nmap on with default settings. So that's why I did a quick scan just using SV minus SC. This machine is rated as difficult because, as you can see, I mean, it has a lot of information with port 22, which is fine. Usually we don't find anything interesting on 22 unless if it's a really bad machine. 53, that's interesting. This is an Ubuntu machine with DNS running. So we have port 80. And on port 80, we do see some exposed data here. And then 110. And a whole lot of other ports. That's what's daunting about this machine. And we have to be strategic here in order for us to get somewhere. You can start with maybe with DNS, do some dig to see if there's anything here. I know that there isn't much, but there's some DNS enumeration that you do. If this were a Windows machine, that's exactly what I'll focus on. See if it's a domain controller, and if it will get me somewhere. Since this is not a Windows machine, I'll just go to port 80. I'll leave 53 for now, but I would like to see what's running on 80. Easiest way is just go and see. It says welcome to Orcus, and click here to know what you need to do. So this looks like an image. I would save this image. Actually, let me just do this. Just open a new tab here. Let's download that image here. So you might want to run strings, stag hide. On the machine, just in case there's something hidden on it. If you look on through this machine, I mean this image here with strings, you can see something. We can use other steganography tools like stag hide or OpenStego to see if there's any metadata, comments, or something interesting. So that's maybe what we can try to do here. I don't think there's anything on this image, so we'll move on to the next one. It says click here to know what you need to do. Keep calm and hack the planet. Here's another image that we can also save to see if they have any data that's hidden here. In this case, we don't have any data. So next, Let's run our go buster, derb buster, or derb, whichever you want, one of the directory brute forces out there. Start with derb. This will brute force for some directories on our site and let me know if there's anything interesting. I don't usually rely on derb alone. I actually also use GoBuster. I'm a big fan of GoBuster, so I use one of these. So in this case, I won't be using GoBuster, but I do have a sec list, word list that I use here, or I just use the default derbuster word list. Sometimes one or the other works. But actually, let's run both and see if we can detect both in the HTTP user agent, because I'm very curious. So as you can see, it's finding a lot of directories here, but this should be picked up by Suricata or Zik. I think Suricata should pick this one up as well. All right, so let me see if I can run GoBuster. Then we can go and check in Kibana, see if we can see one of these. All right, so GoBuster is up. It's kind of nicer, as you can see, compared to my derb here. Okay, so let's go to Kibana and see if derb is picked up. I haven't actually seen this. If I do a star derb, no, I don't see anything. GoBuster does get picked up. I don't know why derb is not showing up. Maybe I'm not typing the right stuff. But as you can see, this is my GoBuster that I'm just running right now. And I'm able to see data from GoBuster. And HTTP user agent is set for GoBuster. Same is set for Hydra and all those automated tools. So if you are going to be doing a pen test and you don't want to get caught, just know that this user agent parameter just makes people detect you right away. So because of this, maybe you want to script your own brute forcing tools instead of using these, because the rules are already deployed for these tools. So that's our GoBuster, and as you can see, it's detected. We are interested in knowing the results. What did GoBuster find on our port 80? As you can see, there is a lot of things here that GoBuster found, including a /admin. Admin pages are always interesting. Let me stop this one. Let's do a, let's see if we have robots.txt. And again, we have a lot in the robots.txt here. The idea is, if you have time, you need to spend some time looking at these and actually checking them out. Something like login.php, that's maybe interesting to check. We have a lot here, of course. Temp, search, and all those. You want to go through all of them during your enumeration process. Let's see if the login.php has anything. Because login.php sounds interesting. This site is currently down for maintenance. Database is currently offline. Oh, powered by Exponent CMS. So now we know there's a CMS and there's a database that is down. That's more information for us as well. So Exponent CMS, maybe it's a vulnerable service that we might find. But going back to our GoBuster here, we have backups and admin. Let's start with admin before we go to backups. Admin is blank. That is interesting. Why is admin blank? View page source. This is a backup taken from backups. So this is a comment that you can see in the source. And it tells us this is a backup taken from backups. And if we go to our results here, we see that we do have a slash backups. So let's go there. All right, so here we are. So we are in the slash backups location. If this is a valuable directory within your infrastructure and you wanted to see if someone accessed this from our Kibana, we can go and see if someone has actually accessed this from our intrusion detection system. So before we steal these two files here, let's go and check Kibana. Remember I said I really want to focus on detection because I kind of want to see. So what I'm looking for is how does Kibana define that URL. So I'm just looking http.uri. Is it URI or do I have a URL.full? One of these fields should tell me. And this is how you make sense of all this stuff. And I'll be doing it with you. Let's start with http.uri and see if we can get there. Equals is a semicolon. Let's see if we can find that. Okay, I think I need quotes. It's giving me some errors here. Let's see. All right, I don't see anything for now. Maybe I don't have the right value. It's probably defined as something different. I'll check for that before we end here. But we should now see, if we go here, that we have a simple HTTP quiz backup.tar. Then we have sshcreds.back. Let's grab both of these files here. I would like to put it in my downloads here for this user because it makes it sense. Just using wget to download the backup. And let's get the SSH creds as well. Copy link location. Okay, so SSH creds, we're getting a 4.3 here, but the backup succeeded. So we cannot get those creds, which is okay. But we have a backup here, so let's go ahead and find that backup. See my downloads. Is this? I just want to extract it here. So it will give me this file after extraction. Simple PHP quiz. All right, so in here, I did spend some time here just messing around, trying to figure out a few things, checking the configurations. For the sake of time, every time you get a backup of a potential application, you want to see how the application is configured and if people have hard-coded passwords. And for this application, in the includes, you will notice that we have a dbcon.php. That's like a PHP configuration file for connecting to a database. And our good friend who configured this, they did leave us DB user and DB password. This is database credentials. This is a nice find for us. We're doing well so far because we found DB user and DB password. These are credentials for potentially a database. If we go back here to our brute force for directories, you will notice that we have a lot of noise here, and being able to distill through this is good. But we have phpMyAdmin. phpMyAdmin is a graphical web interface for managing databases. So if you copy this, we can actually access phpMyAdmin here. A lot of people still use phpMyAdmin. So as you can see, it's asking us, well, we need to sign in. We found DB user and DB password for that interesting application. So we will use this DB user and DB password to get in. I would like to track this login at some point in Kibana because that will be interesting. So it's DB password here. And if we can get into a database, we hope we can see more things in here that are interesting. And as you can see, we see a bunch of databases on the left side. If you're not familiar with the databases, this might be confusing, but it's super simple. The database for the application that got us in is this simple PHP quiz. But if we click on it, we don't see anything, which is interesting. What I would do here is go to Google and see, is this a simple PHP quiz? Does this allow me to upload anything? What's up with this quiz application that is a database here? Because right now I don't have anything, but I can create tables and do, oh, I guess I can't. But can I execute SQL? Yeah, I can execute some SQL commands here. I can try to see if I can make this one work. Or you can leave off the land. See what you have access to. Zencart. Zencart seems to have data. So let's see if we can actually see some users. We have some coupons. This looks like a shopping tool. I'm only interested in users here. So we see that we have an admin here for Zencart with an admin password. And we actually can edit this. I think. There we go. If you remember from my 2 previous live streams, we can mess with this and change the admin password. Now we have an admin user and password for the Zencart. And we need to go back here to see if Zencart was one of the found directories here, or if it's one of the things that we can sign into. That's the way we would go about that one. We also have ZenPhoto, but ZenPhoto doesn't have anything. So let's see if Zencart and ZenPhoto will let us in. Start with Zencart. No Zencart. The reason why I'm doing this is because usually a database will have a corresponding web directory, and ZenPhoto is not set up. And I see a version here. And it's a setup page. So that means that we can set this up and still exploit it, which is amazing. But I like to do that. I would do something like that. Or you can use sexploit in this case. I'm just trying to see if there's an exploit for that particular version of ZenPhoto. And ZenPhoto, since it looks like a photo management application, if you look it up, or here's a local file inclusion and PHP exploits. So ZenPhoto is looking good so far from our results from Google. So we might as well set it up. To set it up, DB user, we already have a DB user. And we have a password. db password, and save that. Don't save. It looks like it did it. We can click go. Let's see if we can complete the installation here. So it's going to go through that. Okay, you need to set admin user and password and agree to the terms and conditions. Admin user, admin password. Okay, apply that. Don't save. Now we have a sign-in page where we can say admin and password. So I just completed the setup for this application here, and you can log in. So if you read about this tool here, it allows people to actually upload files. I don't think this is the one. Well, we're in. First thing that gets my attention is the upload folder and a plugins. These two are very interesting. Just like WordPress, these can let us in and give us shows. So let's start with upload. Upload says it accepts zip files, and they have to be image files, 2 megs. So it looks like this does have some restrictions, and this can actually be a rabbit hole for you because you spend some time wondering how to bypass this. But if you just pause for a second, if you go to the plugins, you also see that we have an uploader, which is interesting. And within the uploader, this one says provide file handling upload files tab. So this gives us another ability to upload as well. So if we enable that plugin and apply, this might take you a long time to figure out, but in the plugins, you need to enable that. Then if you go to upload, now you see that you get this different upload folder. So all we need to do is try to see if we can get our PHP reverse shell or whatever shell that you have, and whatever we upload here, we need to be able to track it down in Kibana. Let me show you. I'm just using the default PHP shell from Pandas Monkey. This is the one that I use all the time, and this is, you can download this from the internet. I'm not going to make one with MS of Venom. You can do that as well, but our IP is 192.168.30.10. This is the IP address of Kali. Port 5353, that's the port that I like to listen on. You can put your own ports. These are the only two fields that I'm changing. So that shell.php, I also have it in my downloads. So let me upload it to this by clicking on the file, shell.php, open. It's uploaded. So now that it's uploaded, I can manage LV and P. I'm starting my listener on port 5353. I just need to trigger this file, and I should get a reverse shell if it works because it's uploaded to my victim. Best way is to right click, get info, so I can get the full path because I don't know where this thing saves these files, but I can just click on this link here, shell.php. If it hangs, that's good. If I come back here, I got reverse shell. So I broke into the machine and I'm in. Let's stabilize this. Make sure that it works. I use Python or Python 3, depending on which one is there. If I use Python here, this should give me a better looking shell. And export, make sure that get better functionality. What happened there? Okay. It's already unstable. I don't know why. Yeah, this shell is extremely unstable. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to kill it so I can do it again. I'm not a big fan of unstable shells, so let's click on this link again. That should give me my shell back. Okay, let's try with Python again. So one, let's export. Darn it. Okay, I guess we'll work with this one. Doubles. All right, so first thing is, I really hate this, but hey, if it's doing this, that's fine. It's working. All right, first thing is, if you go back to our results with Nmap, the last part is we notice that it's actually hosting. There's a file share here that we need to enumerate, which is fine. Sudo -L. It's asking for a password. That means it doesn't work. Just hit enter a couple times. I was just checking to see if I have any sudo privileges, but of course it's www data. That's far-fetched. Uname -A. All right. We're hoping for a kernel exploit. Low-hanging fruit, I don't enjoy those, but this is what you do. And go and check to see if Dirty Cow or any of those kernel exploits work. You just look up this version in Google. Something like that. Privilege escalation for that version. But of course, in this case, we are not attacking the kernel, which will make things super easy. But what we can do is we can look for SUIDs. And for that, I'll check. I'm looking for all the files that have the SUID bit set. That should run. And if you're running these commands on your host, you will be detected, of course, if they have host-based intrusion detection. And what you want to do is you want to look for anything that looks interesting, like procmail. I don't know about that one. Most of these look pretty normal. Ping 6. We have ntfs3.g. Interesting files. So the easiest way to look up these is to use GTFO beans to see if any of these actually show up there, or you can simply Google them. In this case, I don't have one of those on there, but what I know is that we have a file share, which is why I chose to do this machine today. From our Nmap, we did see that we have a file share. I want to see if this file share actually is going to give me anything of value. Now that I'm in, first I want to see if actually if it works. So let's do a show mount. I have that command here. Show mount from my Kali Linux. Exports and the IP address. This will just show me if there's anything I can mount from any mount points from my machine. In this case, I have a /temp where I can pretty much mount that locally here from my machine. So what I can do, let's see. So I'll make a directory in my temp folder here and name it mount. And then I will mount this on my victim machine to my temp mount location. That's exactly what I'm doing. Since it's showing me that it can be mounted here, I should be able to do that. So I should be able to say mount minus, what is the syntax here? It's minus T, NFS, that's the type of share that we have here. Then the IP address, 38.37. It says we can mount this. Where do I want to mount it? I want to mount it here, to my mount location locally here. All right. So it does say that it mounted. Let me see. All right, it says that it mounted. So if it did for sure mount, if I go here and ls, I should see the same files that are on my victim machine temp folder, which I should. Yes, so I see these two identical files are mounted to my Kali Linux. So right here. All right. Next, let's check to see what kind of permissions does my mount have. In this case, if I do a cat slash etc cat/etc exports, that's where the configuration should be. What kind of configuration do I have? This is the, if you're going to take anything from this live stream, this is the misconfiguration that we are attacking. No root squash. Let's go to Google and find out. The internet should tell us. That setting right there is bad. It says do not use no root squash according to Red Hat. So they're telling you it's bad. And of course, because we know that it's bad, here's a Linux privilege escalation using misconfigured NFS. So we'll follow that and hopefully we can get in. And here is how you set up the lab, yada yada yada, and they show you. So if you're interested, this is the article that I found how to do it. I tried the first one, but I went with the C program because this one is more fun. So I'll explain what this is doing. Let me pop this one up here. Let's see. So because of that no root squash thing, we can actually bring in a C program that will give us shell. And the way it works is, since we can read and write and we can mount it locally from our machine, let's see, from here, we can set up SUIDs to any files from my Kali Linux and need to take those permissions inside of my actual machine here. And to do that, we can just bring in a C programming file. Let me show you what it looks like. Then I use GCC to compile it, and it should give us shell if we set up the SUID for it. So give me 1 second. Let me find one. Excuse me. I'm going to name it What should I name it? Get root.c. I'll share a link with you. This is well-known script. And what we're doing is we're saying we can set your ID of 0 and GID of 0, and then we can execute bin shell on this specific file, and I'll share a link with you for that. And once we have this file here, it should also pop up on our victim machine because it's a mount. But since it's already here, let's actually give it the SOID bits that we need from our victim machine, from our Kali Linux. And the one that we need for that one is to be executed by root. Mine just happens to be owned by root, so I don't need to do that. Next is I need to compile this. I'm compiling it for a 32-bit machine. So I need to be able to use GCC -m, is it -m32, I think. Then get root.c output get root. I think this is how I do it to compile for 32-bit. Let me see if it works. Is it minus? I think, yeah, that's it. All right, so if I do an ls here, see now I now have a compiled piece of code here. Should be able to see it here. All right, next I just need to set it up with an SUID and also make sure that it's an executable, because I don't think it is right now. Well, it said it's executable. All right, so let's go and just set up the SUID bit. In this case, I hope I can edit it. This is what you say plus XS. If you're running your machine as non-root, you need to give this root privileges by doing this. On. Like that. So now if I go back, ls minus la, get root is owned by root. It is our payload. Next is we just need to execute that file. And if all works well, we should get our shell back. I don't mind the doubles. And sure enough, it did give us root ID. Wait a second, it didn't work. All right, let me go back to make sure that it actually works. So it's owned by root. Root, what did I do that didn't give me the right? Oh, SUID bit is not set here. That's why it didn't work. All right, let's see if we can set it up again. All right, now it's showing with this S here. That should work now. Now we are root. So that was a fun machine. Of course, we can run a find and try to find the flags. They're probably hidden somewhere. I'm not too excited about the flags. I'm already root. I can get the flags. I think one of them was in /var/www. Yeah. There it is. That's one of the flags. There's 3 others that are hidden somewhere. You can search for them. But I was more interested in looking at our autopsy here. What did we do? Let's change this to the last hour. Alright, so we did generate a ton of traffic, of course. If you want, you can use Security Onion from the Security Onion interface and use the Hive for your incident response. I like all that stuff. But this is all the noise that we were generating. We made so much noise on this machine in the past like 120 minutes. Nmap, everything will get caught, obviously. So if you were interested in tracking down, for example, I want to find out when I did my reverse show on port 5353. That's always interesting. Can I see that? I'll show you a couple of ways within Security Onion, then we can go to Kibana as well. Can I quickly do a 5353 here? So here is when we did our reverse show with port 5353. If we open this, it should show us someone running commands. As you can see, this is us trying to fix our shell using xterm. So we know we can get caught easily here. That's our reverse show from Security Onion. Let's check it from raw data. Let's practice our Kibana query here. For example, let's say source.ip was 192.168.38.37. This is our victim, and what is it? Is it destination.port or how are they defining? Yeah, destination.port. /5353. And if we wanted to be more specific too, and source port, source.ip is our Kali Linux .38.10. This should give me my reverse show traffic. What did I do wrong here? Source IP is that, and this. Okay. See what I'm doing here? This is my Kali. So we're coming from a victim machine going to Kali Linux on port 5353. That's how we're generating this query here. And as you can see here, we have our traffic. We should be able to verify that this traffic is actually really the one for our reverse show. Was network data.decoded. It shows you here. This is a successful export term. Remember when I was struggling with exporting my term and then I just gave up? That's one packet. So we know that we can actually interact with this data. Let's look for another one. Same type of thing. You can even see more commands that someone has ran, which is very interesting. So if you were on the blue team, you will definitely know that this was a successful attack and the attacker was running all these commands here by just verifying from here. So that's our reverse shell. And then there's more things that we can do. that are interesting. But that was just one of them. You can also look at the events as they are displayed within your Kibana. And obviously we should be looking at Splunk as well. I have a Splunk instance that's running. I don't think it's working properly, so I won't even bore you with that. But you can look at your events. You see we have 2, 192.168, 30, 10, and 37. These are the 2 machines that we're in here. And here are some events sorted by count. So you can tell that Nmap was up there as well. So our detection worked, our attack works. So this is why this lab is super fun to play around. And if you really want to get better at your detection, generating your own traffic and trying to track it down is by far the best way to do it. Then you can go and look at other people's traffic and you get very comfortable looking at these logs as well. Alright, so I think that was what I wanted to look at. Let me just take a look at what people... Awesome. So what someone was asking me here, what hardware server would you recommend for someone who wants to build a cybersec home lab? Just buy a Dell R710, R720. They're very cheap on eBay. And make sure that you have at least 12 CPU cores, and then maybe 36 gigs of RAM. That's a good place to get started. Mo, it's good to see you, bro. Yes, I do actually go and hack the box. And lately I've been doing OffSec. So I've been following this guy's list, and I've been doing offensive security proving grounds. The machines there are very easy. So I've been doing all these things, the machines that JSONSec has listed out there. So I haven't been on Hack the Box in a few months because I've been on OffSec and Try Hack Me. They've been my go-to. Awesome. Thanks, Jupiter. Yes, Try Hack Me Splunk room. There's a new one that came a week ago or so. It's a really good room. Then they have another one in Splunk Boss. That one is really good as well. Awesome. Yeah, let us know how it goes with your interviews for pen testing jobs. I'm very curious to see how things are working out there. All right, so as you can see, the lab is working. I will be working more on my Splunk, make sure that it works. I like Kibana, but Splunk is way better, to be honest. Splunk just has that ability to display data in a user-friendly way. So I like to use both Kibana and get familiar with the Kibana querying language, and also use the Splunk programming language. They're pretty much identical except for maybe the semicolons here and there, but they're good. Yes, you definitely won't know everything. Alright, so I think we are good here. If you like this type of content, please subscribe and like my videos. Otherwise, I'll be back next week, next Sunday, and we'll be attacking another machine, and we'll try to improve our labs. And thank you very much for joining. I really appreciate everyone who joins every Sunday. And like I said, we'll only get better from here. If we do this every single Sunday, there's one way this is going to go. We'll get better. If we do this for 5 years, we'll definitely get better at it. So thanks for joining, and I'll see you next weekend. Thanks.